Greetings all. My buddy Dennis wanted to work on some of his sailing skills. You know, us guys got to have skills like nunchuck skills or bow hunting skills or computer hacking skills. Girls like guys with skills. So we decided to take his Jenneau out, a 42-foot Jenneau, and work on our man overboard, or what I should say, person overboard drill. So we had a break in the weather out here and decided to take off into the seas and work on some of our skills. So taking light of a potential serious situation, we decided to bring our big dummy, Elizabeth.
You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey.
So we were going to work on the figure eight technique of rescue, where you basically reach away, tack, reach back, and then try and get in irons and pick up the target. Sounds easy. So one of the scenarios we kind of played out working on our skills here, whether Elizabeth was conscious or unconscious. If the person was conscious, then getting close enough to throw a line and having your boat speed slow enough to initiate a rescue tends to work out pretty good. We also kind of played the scenario whether it was unconscious. You have to consider this too. We tried this with two people, me and Dennis, and worked that out pretty easily, so to speak. But then Dennis wanted to work a little bit on his solo skills. So he got to actually work and practice a little bit on tacking the boat himself, and working on skills associated with solo rescuing, provided that, say, there was two people on the boat and one fell out. How would they actually go about initiating a rescue in that sense? Granted, we weren't using a full-size or full-weight dummy, but this was good enough to work on some of the boat handling skills, and we found out that the figure eight method worked pretty well. Of course, there's other methods, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Well, with Elizabeth tossed overboard, our adventure began, and the hallowed words were wrung out by the captain.
You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey. Oh.
Of course, in real-life situations, one would throw over any life-saving devices, PFDs, life sling, any flotation device to aid not only in the person falling overboard, but also as a visual reference. I often suggest throwing over some seat cushions as your path moves away, so at least you could track it back. Those are usually readily available on most cruises and such. So one important thing to remember is to keep your boat speed up, because you're going to have to tack through the figure eight. And you can see on the map kind of our position on this. So we're kind of reaching away, depowering the boat a little bit, but still maintaining enough speed to get through our tack. And as we approach the tack, again, there's always this thing in rescue that people want to kind of slow the boat down immediately. And of course, there's a psychological thing to the person who fell overboard. Hey, the boat's really going away quick from me. But we had fairly light conditions this time. It was only blowing about 15 knots or so. So we wanted to make sure that we kept this 20,000-pound boat moving fast enough that we could get through the tack and not get into irons. So once we got around the tack, things got a little bit easier, and you'll notice that Dennis is holding on to the sheet of the jib sheet. And, you know, again, you're not trying to keep the boat very powered. You want to keep it moving, but you also want to be able to depower it fairly quickly as you start to approach the target. So keeping all those things in mind, it keeps a little bit busy. A couple other things that we tend to work on, especially with Dennis learning how to solo sail, is tacking and jibing and sheet management, especially in his boat configuration where it's not really set up for solo sailing, in the sense that his sheet witches are forward of the helm, so you can't kind of stand there and work it so easy. So there's a lot of skills to work on, but it all paid off in the end, and a lot of things kind of moved forward in the self-learning. So as one approaches the target, you want to make sure you have the boat power under control for the conditions, being able to slow down. Two options associated with this. One is to come alongside of them along the 8. The other is to turn into irons. And again, if you're going to turn into irons, you want to make sure that you don't stop before you get to them. Again, it's a little bit of a matter if they're conscious or unconscious, and you have to actually initiate a rescue and have a pole ready to actually grab them, or a line to drag them in if they're conscious. So yeah, it's a good skill to practice at least once a year, and I'm glad I was out there to help Dennis along. Well, despite this not being a full size or full weight target, we did pretty good. Come alongside, grab it with the hook, pull it aboard, and now we're reunited with Elizabeth and coming to join you. There you go. There's Elizabeth. So some of the skills we worked on, not only doing man overboard, but was also working with our emergency tiller. We tried that out, and we also worked on tacking for the most part, sailing solo. And one of the hints that I kind of give, and again, if you have any comments or thoughts, comment down below, is when I'm often solo sailing, I'll take the 2 jib sheets and I'll tie them together. So it's basically one continuous loop. And that assures that usually one is always around a winch. And if it does get loose, it's not going to go flying so far away, and I'm not going to lose one overboard. So that's one of the hints that I tend to give. So if you like this video, if you got the Elizabeth thing, let me know down below. Yeah, we had a good time doing this. So for all the seriousness, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Comment down below if you have any thoughts, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye. There is a seagull right above you.